is struggling to hold its head above water. The worst ever natural disaster in the state has already claimed over 320 lives, with about 2 lakh people displaced. The flood fury has rendered lakhs of people homeless, even as the army and national disaster management teams are struggling to move the flood victims to safer places. According to State Finance Minister Thomas Isaac, the losses could cross 15,000 crore rupees. Colossal damage has been done to the state's infrastructure, and it will be a Herculean task to rebuild the state. No doubt it is nature's fury, but the Kerala mayhem throws up some rather disturbing questions. Did the weatherman fail to alert the system about the impending disaster? Do we have enough systems in place to tackle disasters like these? And more importantly, isn't it high time that India had a disaster management manual or a quick action on the ground? On the India development debate this evening, we discuss the lessons that Kerala throws up and what can perhaps be some of the best practices. It's a special panel that's joining me right here on ET Now. G.G. Thompson, IAS, and he's former advisor to the Chief Minister. He's former Chief Secretary of Kerala. Randeep Kumar Rana, DIG Operations, NDRF. We've also got Sudhir Vora, Architect and Urban Planner, and Himanshu Thakkar, Coordinator, South Asia Network on Dams, Rivers and People. Thank you very much, each one of you, for being with us. And G.G. Thompson, if I may start with you, this is the worst flood that Kerala has seen in nearly a century, and it is showing no signs of abatement just yet. 320 people dead so far, 2 lakh displaced, with the red alert now being issued to all 14 districts of the state. What should we anticipate in the coming days?
This has been extremely unprecedented. This has never happened in Kerala in the near past. As you correctly said, in the last 100 years, we have never seen such a huge floods. And, we were aware that, the rains are coming, the rains are pounding the state. But then the magnitude of the problem, this is never anticipated. And there probably the weatherman had gone wrong. For example, yesterday, a place like called Pandalam was flooded. Day before yesterday, there was no sign of any flood there. So definitely there is something wrong in the forecast. And they were quite aware that the shutters of all the dams were going to be raised and the water flow will be quite huge. And they had also made preparations. They had to make preparations, but I find that the preparations were not to the extent required. For example, we know that very well some people have to be rehabilitated. So they have to be rehabilitated in the nearby schools, the colleges. So when the district administration knows that this needs to be done, they should be very well prepared by making all food, medicines, clothes, and other requirements like toilets, all should be made available. Unfortunately, this does not happen. So that is where things have gone wrong. And we are told that it will be raining for the next 2 days more. And I don't know what is in store for us. Hopefully, we can only pray and wish that the rain god will relent and the flood will recede.
So in hope we live on that count, but I'll come to you, Randeep Kumar Rana, and Mr. Rana, the question to you really has to do with disaster management. The army has now been called in, but NDRF was raised in 2006, 12 years after. How prepared is NDRF as a professional force? It has 12 battalions and each battalion consists of about 1150 personnel. Are they short of manpower? Because I don't think the show can be about apportioning blame. We've got to look at solutions. Are they really short of manpower? Mr. Rana.
Supriya, as far as shortage of manpower in NDRF is concerned, there is no shortage as of now, because all these 12 battalions, they were raised and positioned according to the vulnerability profile. And as back as last 10 days, Cabinet has approved creation of 4 new battalions of NDRF. So that will make the strength of 16 battalions by end of next year. And as far as response for such eventualities is concerned, though we have 1 battalion in Tamil Nadu which looks after the area of operation of Kerala also, but in times of need, we mobilize teams from all over the country, from all other battalions also. And in this flood fury also, we have deployed our 55 teams in the state. Out of these, 51 are already there working day and night on rotation basis. They are trying to reach out to the maximum number of people. And one thing I would like to definitely bring out here, that when our disaster situation of such a magnitude is there, how much large a force may be, or how much large the rescue efforts canvas be, there is always a shortfall, because the only emergent requirement is to reach out to the people in need without losing any time. And since these kind of eventualities are more or less unforeseen in nature, so it is practically may not be feasible to place so many rescuers at one place.
No, I understand that. I understand that. Mr. Rana, but I have a quick follow-up question with you before I go across to Sudhanshu Vora and also, sorry, Sudhir Vora and Himanshu Thakkar. I have a quick follow-up. You have the army now, you've got the navy, you've got the NDRF teams working on the ground. So you're right, perhaps the question is not a challenge, is not manpower, but is the challenge knowing where the manpower needs to be deployed? Rescue teams have been relying on messages via social media to dispatch help where needed. Is there a more coordinated way this can be done? You know, where is it that you need to deploy manpower than perhaps the number of people available on the ground? Very quickly, Mr. Rana.
Supriya, before the onset of the monsoon season this year also, in conjunction with the state governments, areas which are prone to floods, they were again reviewed, and NDRF teams, they were prepositioned in advance in the state. And in the state of Kerala also, in consultation with the requirements of the state governments, 4 of our teams were already prepositioned in the state before onset of this calamity on 8th and 9th night. And on lines of this preparation only, more than 152 teams of NDRF have been prepositioned across the country in different flood prone areas as per the requirement of the states. But since this is unprecedented, as it has happened almost after a century, so nobody had expected this magnitude of the flood devastation. That is why the number of teams already prepositioned in the state till 8th were 4 in number, and as per the forecast of IMD and CWC, additional teams were rushed in.
Right. No, absolutely. I get your point there, and I also get the fact that, you know, I appreciate what security agencies are doing there. I understand what NDRF is doing. We're just debating here whether it can be done at an even larger scale. Let me take this across to you, Mr. Sudhir Vora. 324 people have been reported dead, and this is the statement coming in from the Chief Minister. 2.2 lakh people are in relief camps displaced. This is the worst flood in 100 years. Is this a result of urbanization and flouting of norms in an ecologically sensitive state? There are more than 1,500 illegal crusher and quarrying units in Kerala, and apart from that, illegal buildings appear in water zone areas. So a heavy rain can perhaps cause a possible flood. Is this then, and I don't want to sound insensitive, I don't want to sound as if I don't stand with people in Kerala. I do. I think India stands with Kerala, but could this be attributed to a man-made disaster? Mr. Vora.
No, I don't think this should be attributed to a man-made disaster. You may have some unauthorized buildings, or you may have some bad planning, which of course is there as part, kind of endemic to Indian cities. But this is not a city issue at all. This has happened because of unprecedented rainfall, both in the areas and in the catchment areas of the dams. And there's just been too much water, and the dams can't take, were not designed for such a quantum of water. And it's not something like what happened in Bangalore, where the waterways were blocked or clogged by unplanned or unauthorized or unauthorized construction. This is very different. Kerala is not known for such rampant unauthorized construction. I mean, it is a strip. It has a lot of buildings coming up on the roads all over Kerala. But this is not one of those cases where you can blame it on unauthorized or unplanned growth of urbanization. I don't think this is an urban issue at all.
Okay. This isn't an urban issue. I want to go across to Himanshu Thakkar to get his views on the dam situation, and I've got two back-to-back questions for him. And so I think I will quickly take a question with Mr. Thompson, Gigi Thompson, before I go across to Himanshu Thakkar, and please bear with me, sir. I'm just coming to you. Mr. Thakkar, environmental scientist Dr. V.S. Vijayan, a member of the expert panel on Western Ghats, had said that Kerala was going through a man-made disaster, and which is why I asked the question to Mr. Vora. He's of the view that Kerala hasn't seen that rampant illegal construction and all of that. But Dr. Vijayan went on to say that the impact should have been limited if the Gadgil Committee report aimed at protecting ecologically fragile mountain range was implemented. Will you agree with that? And how much of the flood can be attributed to human incursion, if at all, and development activities in ecologically sensitive areas?
In fact, I would definitely say that, our man-made policies have contributed a lot to this situation. In fact, Professor Gadgil was invited by the state government to study the deforestation of Western Ghats. He submitted a 2,000-page report, and he pointed his finger at the illegal quarrying, illegal occupation of forest lands, and the sand mining of rivers, illicit sand mining from rivers, and also converting paddy fields into real estate. And this is all contributed. And today, I can tell you from my experience, when I was chief secretary, I had taken the initiative to desilt all the canals in Trivandrum city, because Trivandrum city has this, is famous for or infamous for getting flooded even at the slightest rainfall. So we took an initiative called Operation Ananta, and we carried out desilting of the canals, cleaning up all the drains and widening the drains. And today you see, even after this has happened in 2015, after 3 years, the Trivandrum city, despite all this heavy rain, have not experienced the floods like the rest, the remaining part of Kerala. But this is mainly because of a very bold attempt to clean up all the drains and desilt the canals. Had we done this, probably to a great extent we could have salvaged the situation. And the illicit mining and the illegal occupation of forest lands have all been going ad infinitum. And the politicians, whether they are left or right, they all have joined hands and have supported all this illegal mining and illegal occupation of forest lands and the conversion of paddy fields into real estate. So this has been a major problem. The landslips have happened mainly on account of this. And so to say that it is not a man-made problem, I think I would beg to disagree with Mr. Vora. This is definitely our supporting of all these mafia have all contributed to this flex. That is what I strongly feel.
Yes.
And unless we...
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Thompson, just hold that thought there, and I like disagreements on the show because I think the whole idea is not to apportion blame, but to try and find solutions, to try and play a positive role in helping people who are stranded in Kerala and all those who are displaced, and 2.2 lakh people there. Himanshu Thakkar, I'll come to you, sir. A review by disaster authorities under the Ministry of Home Affairs seems to have found faults with the states for not gradually releasing water from about 30 dams in anticipation of the rains. Now, you're somebody who's an expert in that. How does one handle the solution when it's raining so much? How do you really release water? Because dams obviously can't withstand so much of it.
See, firstly, one is to understand that the dams should not be filled up before the end of the monsoon. Dams are supposed to follow a certain rule curve. And Idukki Dam, for example, was already full by the end of July. I mean, once you fill up the dam, then you are only left with TINA. There is no alternative but to release the water. And these dam builders and dam developers love the TINA, that, oh, we don't have any alternative. Once the dam is full, what do we do? So this situation should not have come. The dam should not have full. In fact, on 31st of July, when the Idukki was full, they were thinking of releasing the water, but they didn't release. And then again waited for another calamity to come after the 8th of August. Even if they had used that 1 week, not just of the Idukki, I am taking an example, it's true for all the 30 dams. Once you fill up the dam, then you have no alternative. So the dam should not have been filled up before the end of the monsoon. And incidentally, Idukki gets benefit of not just the southwest monsoon, but also the northeast monsoon. So the first thing is that. Secondly, Idukki is basically a hydropower project. And 2 of the 6 units of hydropower Idukki dam are not in operation, not operational in this whole of the monsoon, June, July. So, I mean, there is not even a priority of hydropower in place. Thirdly, the CWC, Central Water Commission, which is the only flood forecasting agency in India, has no flood forecasting sites in whole of Kerala, neither level forecasting site nor inflow forecasting site. So there is no flood forecasting happening, and without flood forecasting and including the IMD forecast and the actual rainfall pattern, then you don't have any way to actually guide you what is going to come to you. So you know, after that to say that, oh, there was so much water, there was no way to I think there was a huge potential to reduce the disaster potential, the disaster impact, if the dams were not full, and if when there was opportunity to the dams water was released.
Right.
And lastly,
Mr. Thakkar,
right. What Madhav Gadgil has warned was very clear.
Himanshu Thakkar, I have a quick follow-up.
Zones 1, 2 and 3 in
No,
Kerala,
Himanshu Thakkar.
and almost all the deaths in the landslide, just one last sentence, all the deaths are happened in that area where the Madhav Gadgil had warned.
Yes. That's true, but that's where Mr. Gargil had won. But what kind of a risk, and Himanshu Thakkar will take a quick follow-up with you, what kind of a risk does the Tamil Nadu's Mulla Periyar dam pose? The Supreme Court has said that the water level should be brought down from 142 feet to 139 feet. Could this lead to more deluge coming Kerala's way? Is that a threat you see? Mr. Thakkar?
Well, that's another blunder that is facing us. You know, it was very strange. The Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, in response to Chief Minister of Kerala, said that we will keep the water as 142 and release everything that comes into downstream. Now, this is actually a invitation to disaster. In fact, when Supreme Court allowed Tamil Nadu to take the water to 142, it didn't mean that they will take to 142 right at the first instance. The dams cannot be filled to the full capacity before the end of the monsoon. The dam is supposed to have a rule curve. The rule curve says that the dam should be filled up only towards the end of the monsoon. So Idukki, the Mulla Periyar should not have been filled to 142, the highest level allowed, before the end of the monsoon. Even the Supreme Court of India, when they allowed them, they should have clearly put in place checks and balances to ensure that the dam is filled up gradually during the monsoon, so that it doesn't create a disaster in the monsoon for the downstream area. Now you are right. If you suddenly ask to reduce the dam, they will reduce more water, and there will be more water into Idukki and downstream areas.
Right. And Kerala, that's true. Just hold that thought, because I want to take this across to Mr. Vora and Mr. Sudhir Vora. This one's for you, because the Chief Minister of Kerala, Pinarayi Vijayan, has said that the impact of the disaster is likely to be felt for a very long time. In fact, Thomas Isaac was in a conversation with us, and he said preliminary assessment indicates nearly 20,000 houses have been fully damaged, 10,000 kilometers of state PWD roads damaged. Anywhere the damage could be about 15,000 crore rupees, according to him. What would it take for them to revert back, especially when they are a remittance-based economy? Is raising tax on IMFL a clever way to balance those losses? I'm just trying to understand, where is the state going to get money to resurrect from?
Well, your question is really outside my professional domain knowledge. I'm not a tax expert, nor am I a financial expert to find out where the state will find it funds to repair the damage is done.
Okay, so on that,
But I like to rebut what
Right.
was said earlier by another panelist on the issue of urbanization. I agree that there has been man-made negligence, probably of the areas of mining as well as the forests, which makes it into a situation where water flows much faster and much you already fouled up your forests. But purely on the on the issue of urbanization, I don't think we have an issue. Of course, there are issues of this. What is the issue of the filling up of the dam before the monsoon and reaching a certain level of 142, and when it should have been released, and the mandate of the CWC, which is the only organization which is meant to forecast and work out flows between states and between watersheds. And there may, of course, have been reasons to believe that the watershed areas of the Periyar Dam, the Mulla Periyar Dam and all that also have contributed to so much rain, so much water coming down, and there may be there may be a lot of silting in those dams also.
right.
Those are larger issues of urban, of environmental
Understand that.
degradation.
Mr.
They're
Vora-
not urban issues, but I
Right.
don't know how the funds
Mr.
will be found. Yeah.
No, yes. Mr. Vora, I'm sorry, I just have the last 3 minutes left on the show. Just give me a minute. I have the last 3 minutes left on the show and I'll go quickly across the table. Mr. Thompson, I think you'll be better placed to answer the question that I said. What will it take for the economy to resurrect, to revert, especially when there are remittance-based economy, losses to the tune of 15,000 crore rupees? Could we be looking at additional tax on Indian-made foreign liquor? I'm just trying to understand what all can be done. Because you know, the money that's coming from the government of India is pittance. The central government has given them only 100 crore rupees right now, not much money.
Yeah, today we are eagerly waiting for the Prime Minister to visit Kerala. He is landing in another hour or so. And after his visit tomorrow, we expect the Prime Minister to, contribute quite liberally to or come in a big way to help out Kerala. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for Kerala to raise these funds. You know, they have already raised the taxes for beverages, and that will net in something like 100 to 200 crores. So this is a pittance. It's not possible. And I don't know how they will be able to raise this much of money unless they go in for some kind of fundraising from the NRIs. Already we have an organization called KIRFB where they take contributions from NRIs. And that is a channel for developmental schemes. So probably they will have to divert a huge amount of money from that source to do the repair work. But it is going to be a major task because all the roads have to be reconstructed. Bridges have to be reconstructed, and then the other medical issues. The people have lost many of their valuables. To restore everything, it requires definitely the finance minister has said it correctly. It could be in the range of 15,000 crore. So it's very difficult for Kerala to raise this money. I don't know. I'm still...
Okay. Fair point indeed, and I think at the end of the show we will tell you if you feel for Kerala, and you must feel for Kerala, what is it that you need to do. But give me a minute now, I'll go across to Mr. Rana. And Mr. Rana, you know, it's all right for us to discuss the disaster and where blame lies and all of this, but I think from a common citizen's point of view, somebody who's stranded, somebody who's displaced, somebody who's in a relief camp, how can we prepare citizens better in the face of a natural calamity before rescue comes in? Is there a list of do's and don'ts that one should not do, a rescue kit that perhaps every household willing to be wise to invest in? I'm just trying to understand from you, because you know, you're someone who looks at disaster management. What is it that at an individual level things can be done?
Like Supriya, I was coming to this only because I know the suffering of the people is very grave and large, but there are certain do's and don'ts which we as each individual, if you know in advance, then the sufferings can be mitigated to a certain amount. And to this end, NDRF conducts various kind of sensitization programs for the people, and conducts mock exercises also. But at this point of time, through you, I would like to make an appeal to the people of the state also, because those of the people who are staying in pakka houses, in double story houses, I know you are suffering and there is a need for evacuation, but my appeal to you as a rescuer is, please bear and stay put in your houses if they are pakka houses for another day, because tomorrow onwards things will definitely start improving, because getting evacuated, if you are safe, please don't go into unsafe environment if you are already safe.
That's right. That's a very important clarification that's coming in, and I think everybody who's watching this program and people who've got friends and family in Kerala, if you have a pakka two-story house, please stay put there. Don't go out to be rescued, because you may end up being in a more dangerous zone. Things will, and weather forecasts also tell us, things will perhaps to improve from tomorrow. And just for the benefit of our viewers, before I thank our wonderful panel, Mr. Vora, Mr. Rana, Mr. Tucker, and of course Mr. Thompson, thank you very much for being with us. India stands with Kerala, and we at ET now certainly, and we at the Times Group certainly believe that India needs to be with Kerala. It is God's own country. There are various ways by which you can contribute. Details on your screens right there. The Times Foundation is playing a pivotal role into this entire trying to get some relief to people in Kerala. You can go through RTGS, you can go through the NEFT transactions. There is a separate detail that you have for foreign donations as well. So please contribute, and please contribute charitably, because Kerala, which is God's own country and one of the most beautiful parts of our country, today needs all our support to resurrect not just its economy, but to put the 2.2 lakh people displaced because of these devastating floods back into their homes. Thanks very much for being with us.